Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. New Mineral Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe is under pressure from the mining industry to revive and transform the industry through exploration and by fostering a junior culture. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer tells us more. Welcome, Martin.
Hi, Sashni.
Now, exploration is a big part of South Africa's mining future, yet there's no word yet from Gwede Mantashe on the promotion of exploration.
All we're worried about is these big holes that go deeper and deeper, which is important to get that straightened out. But unless you start having other areas that are going to yield, you're going to die. It's obvious. And you know, I grew up in a mining culture where people would say, look, for every ounce you take out, you put an ounce back, at least 1 ounce back. Otherwise, you are heading for an end. You can see the finite horizon coming. Now, we don't hear about exploration. All the big talk is around the bigger corporates, and they are not doing much exploration at all. So I think that we need to get the message out to the new Minister of Mineral Resources that he should also be bringing exploration into these talks and into the future going forward. Otherwise, perhaps we're going to move the center of gravity of mining to our neighbors in Africa, where you can already see a movement, and that is where exploration does take place. You see Australians going into exploration in Africa, you see Canadians going in, you see the AIM companies coming through from London, all involved in exploration. We don't have that here, even though we're sitting on the biggest recorded value on the planet. You know, we're much better than what Russia's got in terms of resources in the ground. We're much better than what Australia's got in the ground. According to reports, we are the #1. Yet all these particular applications for exploration have just seemed to have fallen flat, and nobody seems concerned about it. And this concern needs to be raised.
Now, talk to us about Section 12J of the Income Tax Act, and how can it be used as an incentive to boost exploration?
Yeah, we've got to look at this Section 12J. I mean, we promoted the idea in South Africa where you have this flow-through scheme like they've got in Canada, and there's a similar type of approach in Australia. And I've always said, if you go to Toronto and you go to the big cities and you look at those tall buildings, it's all around mining and the impact of this flow-through scheme in Canada, particularly on exploration, because it meant that the ordinary citizen could actually get a tax break, pay reduced tax if they invested in companies that were risking exploration dollars, because it is a big risk. So in order to help those cover that risk, if they list on a stock exchange in Canada and they invest in exploration, even in Africa, the expenses that they incur during that loss period can also benefit the taxi driver in Toronto or who's invested in that company, because when he comes to the end of the tax year, he can say, okay, well, I've invested in this company, therefore I'm going to have a rebate, and you won't charge me as much tax as you were going to, because I'm an investor in this company which is trying to build the industry, but there is risk involved. And so we now, in South Africa, we had that promise. Yes, we'd get flow-through scheme. You know, the Ministry at the time of Finance said, no, we're going to have the flow-through scheme here next year. They said in one budget in the mid-2000s. When it came to the push, they said, no, we've got something much better. And they gazetted an absolute nonsense. It was stingy in the extreme. Not one mining company has actually even applied for it. And the only people who were happy about it were the little boutiques in Cape Town. Now, you know, you worry about a treasury that, you know, has such unintended consequences. Here's a treasury saying, no, we've got something better than the flow-through scheme. What, are we idiots? They are the idiots. But when you talk to them about it, they get aggressive. They say, oh, look at all the people who've taken this. And you look at the list, but you say this is for mining companies. Oh, no, these are boutiques. Oh, your favorite little friends down in the Cape, because you get this idea that Treasury is sort of Cape orientated. But they won't back down. And this really upsets me. But it looks like they are starting to back down with this 12J. The pennies started to drop. You've got to do something better. And perhaps this needs to be tested. So hopefully 12J will be fully tested, and we'll see whether it is a worthy contender with the flow-through scheme in Canada. Let's get some comments around people who are using it. It's much broader than just mining again, but that is not a problem. If it does work, then it's going to be good. But let's see what the comments are. It's been floating around for some time. There is enthusiasm around it, but we hope some of the bigger analysis of this says, oh no, this is even better than the Canadians or something like that, so that we can see that we're on the right footing. Otherwise, they must do something that makes sure that this industry can continue. Otherwise, declare that you want it dead or something. You want to get rid of it.
Now, there have also been calls for intense effort to foster a junior mining culture to revive the industry.
Yes, I'm glad that Gwede Mantashe, in his interview on 702 the other night, mentioned the word juniors. But I wasn't so glad that he mentioned it in the same breath as illegal mining, because they seem to be making tremendous efforts to try and create a legality out of what is totally illegal. And they just turn a blind eye to people breaking every law in the book. They don't do anything that conforms to our labor legislation. They throw the environmental legislation out the window. They even kill each other. And you see people bending over to help this sort of situation, often where in the case of diamonds in Kimberley, it seems like it benefits a whole lot of people sitting at a distance. The people sitting at a distance not doing that dangerous work or hard work. In case of diamonds on dumps, it's not that dangerous, but still, they're not the big beneficiaries. People sitting at a distance are the big beneficiaries. Are they going to benefit that sort of culture? They seem to talk more about that than they do about fostering a real, genuine junior mining culture where, previously disadvantaged South Africans can have 100% ownership or a big slice. They can really control that they're not just co-pilots, they're not just passengers in the plane, they actually do something. But you don't see a firm speech on that. And I think it's about time, they concentrated their minds and stopped playing politics and got round to the real things that matter in South Africa, that benefit the generations, always trying to help little lobby groups. Little lobby groups there, making a noise. Never thinking of the whole of South Africa. That, kid that's being born now, how is he going to benefit from this? He also has a stake in that value in the ground. But what are you giving him? Oh, he's not part of this little group that's been breaking all the laws here, and now you bow down to them and kowtow. And oh no, he's not part of this group, so they don't get special access to 26% of this company and 26% or 30% as they're talking now. No. All little privileged groups, coming through with special favors. What about benefiting the whole country for a change? They're not just looking at these special little lobby groups overly all the time. We do want transformation, but we want proper transformation where the whole economy gets moving. Everybody, young kids born now, can benefit from this activity that generates a lot of wealth, because that value in the ground, as they said, belongs to the people of South Africa. The government and the people, they are just custodians of that value, and they need to do something positive for the benefit of all the people of South Africa and this economy's growth. And we see very little of that at the moment. A couple of words on junior mining coming through. That should be a major emphasis, because they're the ones that are going to provide that exploration base for you. And then the bigger companies can come in and acquire that. Even foreign investors come in and acquire that to get your economy moving. That's the big thing. The spin-off from this mining is huge. And the National Development Plan dictates that we've got to do something with mining. So why aren't they? Well, they probably will, but we need to badger them every now and then.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on South Africa's mining industry.